Welcome to GridironSteady. Week number 5. Week 5 picks against the spread is sponsored by. What's out today's sponsor? Do we have a sponsor today? No, we don't. No, we don't. So that's that. In about 2 hours or so, or hour, depending on when this video gets uploaded, Week 5 in NFL Thursday Night Football will kick off. But before we get to Thursday Night Football, we must recap Week 4. Now, as you can see at the top of the screen above me is the Week 4 record. We went 9-7. 9-7 in Week 4. After going 13-3 the previous week, having our best week of the year, we came back down to earth and went 9-7. Now, you know the rules, you know the goal. The goal is to always win at least 60% of the bets, and mostly want to be above 500. Now, overall on the season, we are 35-29, which is not great. If you put up money, if you're doing it for fun, you might be doing pretty well because, let's face it, being above 500 is pretty good when you win most of your picks for bragging rights with your friends. But if you're betting money, you're probably disappointed in us so far this year. And I will say this. If you stuck around, we're going to bounce back in week 5. We have a feeling. I have a good feeling about this week. I really do. And so we're going to break it down. Now, a couple games that pissed me off last week that kind of put us at the 9-7 mark, like the Kansas City Chiefs. They definitely could have won that game over 9.5. Also, Denver only winning by 3. Now, Denver had to come back in that game to win the game outright. So that's that. And so that's that on those games. Now, a couple of the underdogs did not show up for us. Now, we had a good record. We were doing pretty well with the underdogs and the large point spreads. +7, Washington, they came through for us. The Patriots at +7. Now, I pick the Patriots every week by default. Right? That's just what I do. I don't bet money on the Pats. I never will. I don't, because that's my team. I root for that team. I don't bet money on the team I root for. I just don't. That's a rule that I made about 10 years ago. And trust me, I could have made a lot of money off the Pats if I would have bet it, because you got to remember the Pats used to win like 60% of the time. Especially in the Tom Brady era. I mean, right? Almost every week it was like a guaranteed win. But I didn't do it. Now, in Arizona at +14 didn't come through for us, as the San Francisco 49ers are looking like the best team in football. I mean, how about that Christian McCaffrey? That boy, that kid, that man, not a boy, not a kid, that is a man. The best running back in football, right? So we have to acknowledge that, of course. So, but a couple of the underdogs did win for us. We got Washington, the Ravens. They won their games, and the Seattle Sea Chickens won their games. So that's that. So 35-29 on the year. Let's get right into it, because I did get some emails from you guys, so I will try to make these quicker. I've got some complaints that these videos are way too long, and not from the YouTube crowd. We post these on other platforms as well, and people have complained about them. So that explains why YouTube, there's no views on these videos. I thought we were just being shadow banned. Now we are shadow banned, of course, by the YouTube algorithm. They have punished us, which is so weird, because they gave us monetize options to like get super likes and all this other stuff, but then they completely put our account in the dungeon, which I don't know why. They won't tell us. So that's why these videos are getting no views at all. And some of these videos that we're putting up. So, but we'll continue on, because these videos also get posted out to Facebook and Reddit and maybe I should start using the YouTube link to post to other parties instead of just uploading these videos each independently. So at least the link can travel out into the space outside of the Google algorithm. Maybe that'd be a way to get some views. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. We have people who deal with that. Maybe we should hire better people that understand algorithms. I don't know. But anyway, GridironSteady on Twitter, twitter.com/GridironSteady, Instagram @SportsSteady, and Facebook @SportsSteadyTV. So let's get right to it. Over the last few minutes, now I must admit I was procrastinating a little bit because over the last few minutes, the point spread in this Washington-Chicago game that's happening tonight actually changed. It was 6 points when we first was setting up to go live. And then all of a sudden now it's 5.5. So I like 5.5. Washington Commanders, I'm taking it at 5.5. And but this is a tricky game tonight for the Commanders because this game, the Bears are 0-4, people. Like the season's on the line. I mean, I think the Bears season's over as far as like where we had the Bears this year. We had the Bears at, I believe, a playoff team fighting I think that we had them second behind the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. They're not going to get there, obviously. There's no way. Now, are their playoff hopes dead? It's tough because Green Bay, they're not really in Minnesota. Minnesota's not good. Green Bay is Green Bay. So the Bears could still finish second technically, but will it be enough to get a wild card? I say probably not because they're already 0-4. But we know tonight if they lose, definitely the season is over. Like completely over. 0-5, you do not recover from that. I don't care what division you play in. I don't care if you play in the junior varsity high school league. You go 0-5, you're probably not going to recover from that at all. Not on a 17-game schedule. So I fully expect that the Bears will give everything they got tonight. And last week, the thing was, last week I thought Justin Fields played pretty well. He played well enough to win the game, but he had a couple key turnovers that allowed Denver to come back in that game and win it. When you wake up that defense, you turn the ball over and the defense gets momentum. Momentum shifts in the NFL are real. In pro sports, period. We see it in the NBA a lot, where teams go on these crazy runs, 15-2 runs, in these playoff atmospheres where the momentum can completely shift, where you think you're going to win the game and all of a sudden the team comes back. Because a lot of times, you got to remember, guys, that by nature, a team like Chicago, which is not really a well-run team, when they take a large lead, the other teams think, oh, we could come back against them because they're Chicago. See, when Denver was facing a large deficit against Miami, they knew, you could see it on their body language, that they was not coming back. We're done. Miami's going to ready to boat race us. And that's what they did. Miami said, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. And Chicago didn't do that. They took the lead. They thought, we got them. We're going to win this game. And then Denver starts chipping back. Defense makes a big play. They start getting confidence. Oh, we can win this game. We can win this game. And momentum shifts in sports are big. And if you're an inexperienced team with a young quarterback, you don't understand that. So you typically, you let your guard down, or you try to do too much, and or you try to play to not lose the game. And once you make a mistake or two, you're done. So we'll see what happens tonight. Now, Ron Rivera, the head coach for the Washington Commanders, stated he understands that the Bears are what the Bears are going through, right? In his first 3 seasons as a coach in Washington, the former Bears linebacker and assistant dealt with one off the field distraction after another. So he's trying to relate to what Chicago's going through, what their situation, right, with all their players and stuff like that. Now, I don't know. I mean, now after thinking about it, I don't know if I'm going to take the Commanders tonight because it feels like Ron Rivera is going to. He's feeling sorry for his former team, so that's not a good sign. He wants them to do well, so maybe he doesn't coach his best effort tonight. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but the Commanders are 2-2, and they have lost back to back. You know, they definitely 2-2 is good for them because losing to the Eagles is not playing the Eagles tough. Is not a it's nothing to overlook. And the Washington Commanders have a good opportunity here to put together some wins, right? After this, they got the Atlanta Falcons, which they can definitely beat them, and the New York Giants, who suck. Giants have been outscored 94-15 so far in the 3 losses. So this is a big game tonight. Chase Claypool is not even allowed to be with the Chicago Bears. Now, this is a guy they picked him up in the offseason. They thought he was going to be a big-time player. But apparently, that's not going to happen. So, Bears, Commanders. The Commanders are now -5. 5-point favorites for the Commanders. I really want to take the Bears because I think the Bears are going to want to save their season. You get what I'm saying? But DJ Moore had a good game. He had 8 passes for 131 yards and a touchdown. You know what? You know what I'm going to do here, guys? The Commanders are at home. This could be a 3-point game for real. It really could. And the Bears could probably make it close. Washington could probably win by 3. I don't think Washington's going to blow them out. I think the Bears are going to play this close. So being that the spread is under 6, I'm still going to take the Commanders in this game, but I would not be surprised if this game was a lot closer. But I'm still going to go with the Commanders at 5.5. I know we're going to regret this, but remember, guys, we are 4-0 on Thursday night. So if you're doubting us, and you have every right to, because we have struggled over the last in week 3, we struggled. But I will tell you, week 4 we struggled, excuse me. I will tell you that we are 4-0 on Thursday night against the spread. 4-0. We might have to start putting that up on the screen so we can see it, so people can know. 4-0 on Thursday night. So we're going to keep the Thursday night streak continuing with the Washington Commanders at 5.5. All right? There you go. All right, let's move on. I know I promised to be faster, and I'm already not living up to the promise. I'm already not living up to the promise, guys. That took like 15 minutes just to get that in. And look, it won't happen this week, but I guarantee you by mid-season I will be better in trying to keep these videos about 30 minutes long. So anyway, let's start off with the London game. Another London game. Jesus. No, this is not London, is it? Yeah, it is. Wow. Jacksonville again heading out to London, but this time the Bills are the home team in this scenario, not the Jags. So this game will be out in London at 8:30 in the morning or 9, whatever time it's on your coast. Jaguars 2-2, and the Buffalo Bills are 3-1 after that impressive win last week against the Miami Dolphins, slowing down the Dolphins' high-powered offense. Jacksonville also bounced back with a victory of their own after losing the previous two. The Buffalo Bills are 5.5-point favorites in this game in London. Jacksonville's played well in London. I think I'm going to go with the Jags here. Jacksonville and the plus 5.5 in this game. I think it'll be a close game. I think Jacksonville is going to be pretty good. Maybe I'm still betting on the Jags for some reason. I know the Jags have been disappointing so far this year, but I think that this is a game that they have to show something. Even if they lose by 3, at least they lose a close game. If it's more than 5, it can get ugly. So we'll just keep it on with that. Next. Trying to move fast here. What do we got? Let's go with the New York Giants. This game will be on Fox. Now, the Jags and Bills game is on NFL Network, just so you guys know. It's not going to be on ESPN Plus or whatever the hell that happened last week. You had to get up 9:30 in the morning and have a ESPN Plus subscription. You got to be kidding me. Where is that, like ESPN 50? Anyway, New York Giants and the Miami Dolphins. This game will be on Fox. Giants, Dolphins, and the Dolphins are 12-point favorites at home in Miami, so we know this is going to be a boat race, potential boat race. The New York Giants are trying to save their season, guys. They're 1-3 now. We said the Bears at 0-4. The Dolphins, the Giants are 1-3, and somehow if they can somehow win this game, right? If they win this game and the Commanders lose tonight or on Thursday night, then people are going to start talking about, oh, the Giants are not dead yet, right? That's going to be the narrative, and this could be a perfect week for the Giants to get a win because they beat a formidable opponent in the Miami Dolphins. That would be a really big deal. And the narrative in New York would completely change. Now, there was some controversy in New York with the whole Evan Neal and his comments to fans. And New York media, New York Sports Talk Radio responded in kind. And now Neal has apologized, so I don't think that's going to be a big deal going into Sunday. But if the Giants lose this game, and they play like dog poop again, it can get ugly. But Miami has a high-powered offense, right? Saquon Barkley, ankle injury, questionable, probably won't play. Let's just be honest. Anything in this game that tells me that now Miami, great offense. Their defense is they're at the bottom half of the league in defense. So there is an opportunity here, potentially, for the New York Giants. Potentially. I'm not saying that there is, but it's possible. The stats, the statistics and the rankings tell me that this game could be a bit closer than what they're selling us with the spread. Now, the spread is only 12. Wait a minute. Didn't I just say 14? No, it's 12. So, remember, home team gets 3 points. So, they're basically, the Vegas is telling us that the Dolphins are about 9 points. A 9-point better. 9 points better than the Giants? As bad as the Giants has been all year long, and the Dolphins put up 70 on Denver, they only believe that the Dolphins are really 9 points better. That's only a touchdown and a field goal. Right? not say only, but I'm saying only considering what Miami's offense has done all year long. Miami comes in with the number one ranked offense across the board. Number one rank in total yards, number one rank in passing yards, number one rank in rushing yards, number one rank in points per game. Now, obviously, a lot of that is due to that 70-point outing against Denver at home, but it's still a home game. I'm just shocked that the spread is only 12, and they're giving the Giants respect, even though the Giants are ranked 29th in total yards, 30th in passing yards, 23rd in rushing yards, and Saquon Barkley may not play, that's their best offensive weapon. They're 32nd in points per game, only averaging 11.5 points per game. And also on third downs, they're 20th in the NFL. So, and I get it. The Dolphins' defense is not great as well. Their defensive stats are not great. But their offensive stats is way better than the Giants. Than what the Giants could do defensively. Giants give up 133 yards a game on the ground. You're telling me that the Dolphins couldn't exploit that? So this is why I'm kind of leery of this point spread, and I'm kind of leery on taking the Dolphins in this 12-point spread. Something's off here. Why do they think only a 9-point difference here? That's because this is a trap game, guys. This is what you call the trap game. Now, you can say, well, it's not a trap. How could it be a trap game? The Dolphins could bounce back. They're at home. Last week they lost to the Bills in a kind of a blowout a little bit. They're not going to come back home and sneak to bed. No, they're not. But I think they're going to beat the Giants. I just don't think they're going to blow the doors off them. I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than the 12 points. This is what the wise guys in Vegas believe, and that's what they're thinking. This is a bait. This is a bait spread. 12 points. This is a bait from a team that's clearly superior offensively to the other team that completely sucks. But the Giants are 1-3. They know that if they win this game, things are looking up. They're going to have a fire under them, especially after the week that's going on in New York. I believe I'm going to take the New York Giants. And it's a 1 o'clock game. I know it's an early game. I'm going to go with the New York Giants and the plus 12. Look. So far we got 2 underdogs in this game. And Giants plus 12, I'm going for it. Dolphins will win, but they won't cover. The Giants will keep it close. I think the Giants will probably lose that game by 10 points. I think it'll be a close game. You'll see like a late touchdown at the end that would cover. Something similar to what you saw last week with was it last week or a couple weeks ago? I don't remember. But yeah. That's what I'm gonna see. All right, let's move on. We're already 23 minutes in. And we already did 3 teams. Let's try to accelerate this a bit. Let's go with the what we got? We got an 0-4 team in the Carolina Panthers. They'll be taking on the Detroit Lions in the D, right? On Fox. Lions Panthers. Now the Detroit Lions are 10-point favorites. This is a NFC South versus NFC North game. I like Detroit. Of course, obviously we like Detroit. They won last week by 2 touchdowns against the Lions. So they've been pretty good this year, doing what they got to do. Let me see what. Besides last week, what else have they done on the scoreboard? So they've beaten teams. Their closest game was week 1 against the Chiefs, where they took that one. Seattle, they beat them. They lost to them by 6. But in their wins, the last 2 weeks, they have won by double digits or more against the Falcons and the Packers. And this is a Carolina team that will be 0-5 one of the worst teams in football. And the Lions are in first place alone and for the first time since 2017. So, as the 10 points favorites in this game, 10-point favorites, Lions are 3-1 this year against the spread, so they have covered every time they've been the favorites. They've covered. You know what? Panthers will be out without defensive starters, cornerback Dante Jackson, and safety Xavier Woods. So this is gonna be a long day for the could be a long day for the Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna take the Detroit Lions here in the 10. We'll take the Lions and the 10-point favorites. And Detroit's been pretty good to us this year as well, right? We've had them last week, Thursday night. They came through for us. They've been solid for us. They came through for us on week 3. They didn't come through for us on week 2, even though they still, but in week 1 against Kansas City, they came through for us. So now here's a deal for the Detroit Lions though. Last time they were favorites 4.5 at home against Seattle, they did not cover that. So they bound to not cover at home. But I think tonight, 10 points, I think they cover. This is their largest spread of the year. That's against Carolina. I think they pull it out. They go 4-1. So let's move on. Shall we move on to where we at? Let's go to, and that game will be on Fox, just so you guys know. Let's go to the Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons. Titans, Falcons, AFC North versus AFC South. The Atlanta Falcons. Now, there's talk around the league. Everyone's so impressed by this C.J. Stroud kid from the Tennessee Titans. Did I say Tennessee Titans? Excuse me. The Houston Texans. Sorry. Houston Texans versus the Atlanta Falcons. There we go. So, everyone is so excited about this. They're raving about the C.J. Stroud kid who is he's thrown 6 touchdowns, no picks so far this year, over 1,200 yards passing in the first 4 weeks, and throwing for a lot of yards. Now, let's face it. The team sucks. That's why they throw for a lot of yards. He's 94 of 151. He's not turning the ball over. Right? He's playing solid. Over 300 yards a bunch of times. He played well in the win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they're thinking this could be a trend for him to continue to play well. Now, maybe it is because the Falcons, but the Falcons are 1.5 point favorites at home. I'm taking the Falcons at home, guys. This is the easy one. I'm not sold on the Houston Texans. Yeah, Stroud may throw for 350 yards, but they're gonna lose the game. Falcons 2-2. They're taking an opportunity to win this game. They better win. Over under in that game is 41.5, by the way. So that's that. Take the Falcons. Let's see what we got next up here. Let's go with the division game on the line here. Ravens versus Steelers. These games are always hyped up. AFC North versus AFC South. And the Ravens are number 1 in the division so far at 3-1. And the Steelers are number 2 at 2-2. Steelers are at home, but they are underdogs once again. Steelers have been underdogs a lot this year at home. And they're +4. So, which is so funny because we like we said, home team gets 3 points. So this is a touchdown Vegas believes that the Ravens are a touchdown better than the Steelers on neutral ground or in Baltimore, right? So Jackson and the Ravens head to Pittsburgh with a chance to go to take an early control of the AFC North with a win in Pittsburgh. I don't see that happening, honestly. Now, let's talk about the quarterback situation. Let's see. I think the Pittsburgh defense is going to be the key in this game. Lamar Jackson's 2-3 as a starter against the Steelers. He didn't play last year against the Steelers. He missed both games. He's throwing more interceptions than touchdowns when facing the Steelers. 6 interceptions and 4 touchdowns, I believe. So he struggles against the Steelers. Now the Ravens are 3-1, look like the best team in the AFC North in September, right? And they want to take control of this division big time. I thought last week the Pittsburgh missed the opportunity with the way they played, but I believe that the Pittsburgh defense, it's a division game. They know each other. I'm taking the Pittsburgh here in the +4. I think this game is going to be close. Even if Baltimore does win, they'll probably win by a field goal. But Pittsburgh, again, +4 on that one. That's what I see for Ravens Steelers. So let's move on, shall we? We got the Tennessee Titans. For real this time. The Tennessee Titans and the Colts at Indy. The Colts 2-2. Titans 2-2. This is an AFC South showdown division game. Colts run defense gearing up for another rumble with Derrick Henry. Right? Rumble. So Derrick Henry and the Titans are looking to do some damage. So, what's the situation like for Jonathan Taylor and the Titans? What's going on there? Now, Taylor hasn't played a game since December 26th and hasn't even practiced with his teammates until this week. So we'll see if he returns. Zach Moss has been solid, right? He's rushed for 280 yards, scored twice, and caught a 2-point conversion pass in his 3 games as a starter. So Zach Moss has been a solid backup, and Jonathan Taylor's like, man, I need to get back because Zach Moss will take my job, right? Key matchup, Derrick Henry versus the Colts run defense. The 2-time NFL rushing champion has dominated this series, getting 700-yard games in 14 tries. 700-yard games against the Colts in 14 matchups. Henry has 253 carries for 1,287 yards and 7 scores all time against Indy. And after last week's 122-yard game against the Bengals, he may be poised for another big game against a defense allowing 126 yards a game on the ground. So Colts give up a lot of rushing yards. Derrick Henry is going to feast. He is hungry. He is going after them. So we highly expect Henry to have another 100-plus yard game on the ground. So I say you take the Titans here and the favorites, Tennessee Titans. That would be my choice. 2.5. Take the Titans. Enjoy it. I haven't seen a game of the week yet, surprisingly. We don't have a game of the week yet. We should be getting, maybe that Jaguar Bills might be the game of the week, even though it's on 8:30 in the morning. That might be. Or it could be Ravens Steelers. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think we've seen it yet, but we'll see. Patriots Saints. Saints head out to Foxborough to take on the Pats. The New England Patriots are struggling, and they had a couple of injuries, I believe, too. Offenses are not looking good for either team, to be honest. What's the point spread like? It's a pick 'em. This game is a pick 'em, folks. A pick 'em. So both teams, Patriots 1-3, third in the AFC East, and the Saints are 2-2, third in the NFC South. And this game's a pick 'em. The over under is 39.5. This game might be. I think this game is gonna be a good game. Now, obviously, I'm biased, so I'm gonna pick the Pats in this game, of course. So, do we have to go over this? Probably not. I'm taking the Patriots, but both teams having a hard time scoring. That's just the gist of the situation. Derek Carr questionable with a shoulder AC joint. Rookie Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots, shoulder injury, doubtful, and Stevenson, the running back, thigh injury, also questionable. So there's that. Both teams come in with solid defenses, but they just can't score. They're having a hard time scoring in key moments. Patriots at home 0-2 this year, so they need to win this game. They got to win. Last time these two teams met up was back in September 26th in 2021, where New Orleans beat the Pats by 2 touchdowns. Means nothing, but I just mentioned it just to have something to talk about. So, that's that. Take the Patriots, guys. And that one, they're at home. They got to think they're going to win. Next, the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, 4-point favorites on the road in LA to take on the Rams. Wow. Only a 4-point favorite here, guys. But remember, home team gets 3 points, so they basically got a 7-point. The wise guys think they're at least a touchdown better on neutral ground or in Philly. Let's see what we got. Eagles last week struggled to beat the Commanders. They had to go to overtime. And the Rams also needed overtime to beat the Colts. So both teams had to go in overtime last week to beat their opponents. Now, the star in the making for the LA Rams is Puka Nacua. This guy has been an absolute stud this year. He's been a security blanket for Matthew Stafford. 39 catches on 52 targets, 500 yards in 4 weeks, and a touchdown. 500 yards. This guy is on pace to, he's on pace to do some damage. This guy 39 catches already, right? At this rate, this guy's going to break some records. Okay? He really is. Now, obviously, he probably won't keep up at this rate, right? 4 weeks, nearly 40 catches. Come on, guy. 500 yards. He's not going to do that if you prorate that out. It's just not going to, it's not sustainable. But you never know. You never know. A lot of these wide receivers are putting up some monster numbers. You might see a couple of guys hit that 2,000 receiving mark, right? Even AJ Brown for the Eagles, he has 414 yards in his first 4 weeks, right? So he very well could get at least both of these receivers, Brown and Nacua, are obviously going to be over 1,000 yards. May even get over. It can get close to 2,000 yards. Yeah. So in this game, what we see happening here Eagles on the road. You know what's so funny about this game? I think the Eagles are going to take their first loss of the year, guys. I really believe it. I think. Let me make sure there's no key injuries here before I start yapping off. Before I start picking upsets. No, everything looks pretty good. Rams got a pretty good offense. Defense. Rams defense is solid, guys. They have a 6th in total yards, 7th in passing yards defense. Third down defense, 2nd in the NFL, while the Eagles' third down defense is 25th. Yeah, so here it is, guys. This is gonna be it. I'm picking it right now. Breaking news: the LA Rams. You take the LA Rams in this game. The Rams are going to hand the Eagles. Not only are they going to prevent the Eagles from covering, you take the Rams in a +4, they're going to win this game outright. I'm calling it right now. The LA Rams, upset alert. This will be the game that the Rams hand the Eagles their first loss of the year. Calling it right here. Eagles fall in LA. Book it. Eagles will fall in LA, guys. You better put it down. I know all you Eagle fans out there are not going to be happy about this, but this is the week you fall. This is the week you fall. And that's that. Let's get on now. We got the afternoon games continuing. We got the Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are a tricky team because they're showing some fight. They really have. The Bengals, they're in trouble, man. 1-3. Both teams are 1-3, by the way. But the Bengals 1-3 is a little bit more serious because we fully expected the Bengals to be a good team this year. So the Bengals are 3-point favorites on the road. Cardinals are underdogs in this game. They're at home underdogs. I don't know what's going on. I wonder if I'm taking the Bengals, guys. Let's take the Bengals. If the Bengals don't win this week, I'm going to be disappointed. But I got to think they're going to bounce back. I really do. If that spread was a little bit more, like say if they was like 4, if it was 3.5, I would have took Arizona. I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona won that game, but I'm just saying. I got to think the Bengals are going to bounce back. At some point, they got to bounce back big. At some point. So we'll see if that happens this week. Jets Broncos. The Jets, Jets, sucks. Head out to Denver to take on the Donkeys. The Denver Donkeys. And this game, afternoon game in Denver. The high mile, whatever they're calling it out there. And this is a good game because of the comments made by Sean Payton, who's just causing a lot of stir up there. He's putting a lot of I don't know. All these notes are irrelevant. They talk about 1998. Who gives a shit about 1998? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Okay? Nothing. Russell Wilson. Look, the Jets. In this game, honestly, I think Denver's going to win this game, right? Like, are we really going to sit here and play around with this? Take Denver and they're at home. Denver and the +2 and the -2.5. Come on, guys. Like, we shouldn't even be wasting time on this. Jets suck. Denver sucks too, but they're better. They're better than the Jets. All right. So, what do we got now? Let's move on. We got the Chiefs and Vikings. The Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, head out to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorites. Take Kansas City. This is easy. Right? Patty Holmes and the Chiefs. Is that a no. The game of the week though. There is a game of the week. It's not Chiefs Vikings. Game of the week is obviously the Sunday night game. Cowgirls and 49ers. That's the game of the week. How foolish of me to not know that. Right? Cowboys, 49ers, two of the top teams in the NFC and probably top two teams in, or two of the top 3 or 4 teams in all of football. This could be a NFC title preview. Cowgirls, 3.5-point underdogs in Santa Clara. So, as the Dallas, they just can't handle San Francisco. Right? They just can't. Dallas will get another shot at doing on Sunday night what they couldn't do in the past 2 Januaries. And that's beat the 49ers. So, there's still questions about the Dallas Cowgirls' offense, but I want to focus on the matchup between the defense and Christian McCaffrey. Can the Cowgirls stop Christian McCaffrey? The answer is no. They cannot. Oh, by the way, we are taking the 49ers in this game. Now, the Cowboys are tied for second in NFL with 11 picks, but the problem with picks is the quarterback needs to throw picks. And Brock Purdy has not thrown any turnovers. He doesn't turn the ball over for some reason. Purdy's 9-0 as a starter in the regular season, and he has won all 12 games when he has played at least 3 quarters. So, when you don't turn the ball over, you can't get picks. And when you have Christian McCaffrey running all over the defense, you don't got to throw that much. So this is a bad matchup for the Dallas Cowgirls. Now, at some point, Brock Purdy will make a mistake. It is. Nobody goes perfect in the NFL. Nobody goes through the whole year without not making a mistake. So the question is this the week that Brock Purdy comes back down to earth? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say because if he's throwing the ball 21 times, 20 times, because McCaffrey's doing everything else, the risk of turnovers are very low. So all eyes on Christian McCaffrey. If they're stopping McCaffrey and forcing Purdy to throw, there's a potential that Dallas could force turnovers. Otherwise, Dallas is in trouble. Either way, San Francisco here is only a 3.5-point favorite, so this is going to be a close game. San Francisco takes San Francisco. That's what we're doing. Well, hopefully that San Francisco can score more than 3 points. I mean, beat them by more than 3 points in that one. And let's get to the Monday night games. The one Monday night game, because there are some bye weeks, just so you guys know. Packers and Raiders on ABC Monday night. Monday night. Packers head out to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Jordan Love versus, is it O'Connell? Aiden O'Connell, who doesn't have a pitcher. Let's just put AO. AO versus Jordan Love. Let me see. Garoppolo, Adams is out with a shoulder. He's questionable. Garoppolo concussion protocol. I mean, this is a disaster for the Raiders. Are they going to win this game? Can they beat Green Bay? Packers have been tough. Both teams are struggling to run the football. So we'll see what happens here. Now, both teams are struggling to run. They're both teams at the bottom of the NFL in rushing yards. But the Raiders give up more rushing. No, not the Raiders. Excuse me. The Packers give up more rushing yards than the Raiders, which means that Josh Jacobs, right? Is that his name? He will have an opportunity to run for the Raiders. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Raiders at home in a 1-point game. I think if they run the football, they might be able to run against the Packers' run defense, which is not that great at all. So take the Raiders and the -1. So let's recap real quick before we get out of here. We got Washington -5.5. Jacksonville +5.5. Giants, Lions, Falcons, Steelers +4. Titans, Patriots, pick'em. Rams +4. Bengals, Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, Vegas. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.